Alright, so I've been fed a lot of information about books in my life. There's the camp that believes books are a complete waste of time. There's also the camp that believes books are the be-all end-all. Wow, books. You're gonna get smart, you're gonna get successful, you're gonna make $1,000,000 if you read these 5 books. So how can this be reconciled? The way I went about it was weighing out the pros and cons. So I found out the method. I weighed out the pros and cons. The main pro of reading books is the information you get, right? But the main con is how long it takes to get the information. It takes like 6 hours to read a book, right, in total. Maybe less, maybe even a bit more, depending on how long the book is. Is that really worth it? To me, no. Why are you spending 4 hours reading a book? You can do a lot in 4 hours. You can do a lot in 4 hours. And you spent that whole time reading a book. Now, with that being said, do books have very valuable information in it? Yes. So, what do? Book summaries. Now, hold on. I know a lot of you just said, well, obviously, I don't know what book summaries are, but they aren't that good. Well, blah, 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 blah. This is how you use book summaries, all right? This is a superior alternative to reading books. This is what you do, okay? So first, you get a pen and notepad, and then you get the book you want to learn about, and I lost the page. One moment. Alright, so I got the page. So what you want to do, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but you get your book, go to the top of the page, you write down the name of the book. Alright, I've done this with a few different books. By a few, I mean like 15 right now. Started a few days ago. And you write down the title at the top. For this example, I'm using 4 Hour Work Week. Then second, you write down the summary of points from the book summary. So these are important ideas, important information, and all of the sub-points that come with it. Now, lastly, this is what separates you. This is not just taking notes. Okay, this is different. There's an extra part that makes this the superior alternative to books. You make a section at the bottom of the page, and I put application or app, you can do whatever, and you write down how you can apply the principles of the book into your life today. So, for example, this one. For 4 Hour Work Week, the main points I got out of it were obviously the relative income stuff, but I also got the 80-20 principle of elimination. I got the idea of outsourcing and Parkinson's law that states that effort and time are correlated. If you give yourself a week to do something, you'll get it done in a week, but if you gave yourself 3 days to do the same task, you'll get it done in 3 days. So that's Parkinson's law. So I knew all of this stuff before, but when you write down the key points and when you start thinking about applications, it's much easier to apply it in life because the 80-20 principle, I mean, everyone knows what the 80-20 principle is, but a lot of people don't actually go through the effort of writing it down and applying it. And I think it makes sense because I wrote it down here. So 80-20, I applied it on the bottom of the page, I applied it to my business and my life. So I ended up coming with it's a small list when you think about it. When it's just every day, down here, probably can't see it, but every single day, this is the stuff I do. These are the tasks I focus on because these give me basically all of my results come from these things. And I've realized an improvement. It's much easier to go about my life and knowing what to do. Okay, it's like a checklist. And every single thing on this list, you try to improve every single day. So you're not wasting your time doing a bunch of other crap. So, this method gives you the best of both worlds. Because the main problem with reading books for a bunch of hours a day is the lack of action, right? But the problem with not reading books is you miss out on a lot of information. So this reconciles both problems on both sides. Now, as a caveat, some books can't really be broken down like this. So if you want to be a scholar in religious studies, and you can't really just do a book summary of a story, right? You can't just do a book summary about Jesus' life because you're going to need to know the details in order to be a scholar about it. But that's the point. The type of books I'm talking about are self-improvement type of books. You don't need to be a scholar in the 4 Hour Work Week. You just need to get the ideas out of it that matter. You don't need to know every single word. You don't need to know every single part of the story. You don't need to be a scholar. That's why reading the book in full is kind of pointless. It makes more sense to just get the information out of it. And this also goes for stuff like biographies. The only book I read is the Bible. That's it. Every other book I've read is just a book summary. And I can attest, you're not missing out on much, because I read a long time ago the Checklist Manifesto. And I could say from experience, reading it was a waste of time, because first I read the book summary. First I watched the book summary, right? And then I got the book and I read it. I got no new information. Sure, I got some of the examples and, some of the little stories, but who cares? That's not worth all the time you put in. So, this is a superior alternative to books. Happy learning.